characters are all there. And to be fair, and I don't want to spoil who's in it, who's not in it. There is a shockingly small amount of ancillary characters in it.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm still surprised to hear that anime does that because I thought, from the ones that I've seen, I thought anime movies are just like an encapsulated thing, but it doesn't have that episodic feel. It's just like one continuous thing. Am I
think
crazy?
it depends on the anime.
Because I haven't really,
if you,
I haven't really seen that many of them. So,
so if you like talk about like Neon Genesis, you know, like if you're talking
come on,
about
say the
something
last
like
word.
that,
Say the last word. How do you say it?
I can't. Evangelion, Evangelion. I don't know.
What do you say, Mike?
Whatever we.
I say Evangelion.
I say Evangelion too.
Okay, fine. Evangelion.
Hey, some people say Evangelion, and I'm like, that's a jelly.
No, that's what I was saying, man. Listen, I love jelly. It is a fantastic condiment.
Neon Genesis.
It's not
Evangelist.
It's not peanut butter and nothing. So
peanut butter and gumballs, my favorite.
No, that's a Simpsons gag. I'm a man, 18 to 49. People always listen about people always listen to my ideas, and then he eats from a jar that's just called nuts and gum.
Nice.
Yeah, Evangelion. It's like that. The movie, right, is literally just a bunch of episodes crammed together. Dragon Ball Z, it's like standalone, doesn't really fit into the canon. It's just kind of its own thing.
Right. The first thing that came to mind was the Broly thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I think, but for the most part, like when I'm thinking like I'm thinking more like. Are either of you familiar with Demon Slayer?
Yes.
Not.
Remember Mugen Train?
No. Just because I'm familiar with it doesn't mean I've seen it. My niece was obsessed with it for a little while, so I know about like what's his name, Tanjiro, and some other people. There's a boar guy.
Like the first movie, I want to say the first movie they had was like the first 4 or 5 episodes of the second season. But the way they wrote it was if you watch it as a movie, it doesn't feel like it's an episode. It's episodes, but they split it at the right points where it can be episodes and still be fine.
Okay. You know, I would like to see Dragon Ball Z cut to where they get rid of all the filler shit and just make it one continuous thing.
That would be cool.
That'd be fun to watch. That'd be like on the level of watching all of the Lord of the Ring movie back to back.
They did do that. It's Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and it's phenomenal. I mean, it is.
I mean something that's like 3 hours long continuously.
Dragon Ball Z Abridged is such a good series, and I wildly underrated. And I wish that the guys were doing more like. They got a good career out of it, but like
Jesus fucking Christ! I thought you meant like the actual like reboot of the anime. You're talking about Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
It's like
completely in the wrong area. Never mind.
No, fuck that shit. I know what you're talking about, Adam, and no, give me my original. I don't need the remaster crap.
Okay, I haven't watched any of that. What's wrong with that? We're just doing tangent after tangent now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, don't get me wrong, the artwork somewhat looks better, but it loses some of its. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It loses some of its grittiness, and it doesn't seem.
Is it too clean?
Right. Yeah, it seems way too clean, and then on top of that, they censor the hell out of it.
Mm.
Like we're in the originals, you'll see blood and stuff like that. They censor that right out. No blood, no holes, nothing.
No holes.
Yep.
I only watch it for the holes, man.
Jesus. Nice. All right, where did we get? We
were talking about Mando and Grogu,
right?
And
okay.
Again,
what you said about them being episodes crammed into one movie is what I keep seeing online about the reviews for them. It's not necessarily bad, not necessarily great either. It's just it's fine. It is what it is.
Right. I would be if they released that movie as a two-part special episode on Disney Plus, it would have had the same effect. Though seeing it in the theater, there is something about like when you go and see it and like the entire when it does the ba-bong, ba-bong, and
The
like
Mando
when
theme.
that comes on, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went with some like hardcore Star Wars fans, like some real Star Wars nuts. And I would consider myself significantly more well versed in Star Wars than the average person, and
Yeah.
I hold no candle to these guys. They're like fully on board. One of the guys that I met when I initially met him, it was at like a cookout, and I like lightly mentioned because at the time it wasn't Legends, it was the Star Wars extended universe, right?
Mhm.
And I casually brought up, "Oh yeah, I'm aware of the extended universe," and he went on like a 25-minute tangent about Mara Jade, and I was like, "Okay, so guy knows ball," and we all agreed. We all were like, we liked it.
Yeah.
I can understand. I also think that there's kind of a gatekeeping aspect in the Star Wars community,
Oh
like in
yeah,
the Star Wars fandom,
yeah.
where if it's not exactly what a Star Wars fan wants, it's just the worst movie ever.
And they pick them
And I've
apart
kind of
too. Like it
right,
always has to match some continuity that they have built up.
right, and like again, it's the we're kind of in the weird Marvel space where every movie from an IP has to progress some overarching story in that IP and
Mm.
cannot be its own standalone thing.
Right.
Right.
So
I have a thought on that.
I lay it on me.
We don't get standalone things because people don't want to take the chance.
I mean, that's why we don't have any original IPs either.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question about the movie. Not specifically about the story, but about it being a Star Wars movie.
Yes.
Did it feel like Star Wars?
Yes. So I put it, ooh, I'm about to do a real deep dive. Buckle in.
Well, I asked that because I don't know how you guys feel about Rogue One, but I liked Rogue One, but it did not feel like Star Wars until about 2/3 into the movie. The first third, it didn't really feel like Star Wars. It didn't seem like it or anything. There's just like that sense or feeling. I don't know how else to even say it. Just when you're watching a Star Wars movie, there's that sense that you're getting from it that's like, okay, yes, this is a Star Wars movie. And Rogue One didn't hit me until 2/3 into the or a third into the movie.
So the way I put it was Mando and Grogu felt like the Ewoks movie. Do you remember the Ewoks movie?
Oh, interesting.
Not that again, it definitely felt like Star Wars. Like it to me it felt very much like Star Wars. There was a lot of power scaly comic booky stuff, especially in the opening scenes. Like I don't want to ruin it for you. It's not story relevant at
I
all.
think this is
But
going to be the first scene just because they showed it, but in Fortnite they had a special island that they built for the movie showcase, and they were showing like a 4 or 5 minute clip from the movie where they were chasing down somebody who had their own little group for the Sith, I think it was, or for the Empire, and it's just Mando waylaying people, taking one of the walkers underneath an AT-AT and blowing that up and shit.
yeah, exactly. And it's
Okay.
not one, it's multiple.
Yeah, but
So
it's just him doing
you
it.
right, and that is the only thing that and again, I'm not a power scaly guy, but like that's one of the things that's been wildly inconsistent. So there are points where like for example, Mando can take out four AT-ATs, right? Like and it's nothing.
Mm.
And then there are points where he's like fighting one dude and it's like oh no, is Mando going to make it? And like his level of badassery
Mm.
varies wildly.
Mm.
That be it's not bad, but it's also like it's an interesting choice, and they didn't need to go so bombastic with it. I don't think, but I also understand why because it's a movie. They
Hmm.
Mm.
need to be people. They need to get butts in seats. Um, but yeah, I get what you're saying about Rogue One. One of the guys I went with, um, I picked him up and we drove, and we were talking about Andor, and I'm like, "What are your thoughts on Andor?" Because I love Andor. I know a lot of people love Andor, But a lot of the hardcore people, a lot of the hardcore people are like, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And my base description of Andor is this: The Mandalorian itself is a great Star Wars series. Andor is a great series that takes place in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It is, if you picked any other IP, it would fit in just as well. But I'm glad they chose Star Wars because that's not a realm like actual political espionage and like revolutionary tactics.
That takes a back
That's
seat.
something that's that is something that's always hinted in all the movies.
Well, that's
But
like the thrust of the movie, but it's not focused on that. It's focused on all the shit that happens around it or because of it.
right, and I mean right, exactly. So like when you hear about the resistance, you see your Princess Leia's and your Luke Skywalker's in the main trilogy.
Tag
and
yourself
in
on
the
Princess
sequel.
Leia.
Right. Well, but you don't like that's not what in the real world like a revolution would be.
Right.
It is a lot of like subversive guerrilla tactics style espionage, and like how does that actually play out in a world like Star Wars?
Right.
I've heard people get really overcritical about, and it's the minority, right? It's the real hardcore fans that are like, I want to see more Jedi, and it's like,
It's always the minority that's the loudest that are inobjective to these things, it seems like.
right. And I understand, and this we were talking about the inherent thing of fandom's gatekeeping a fandom, and
Correct.
funny enough, kind of tying back to the last episode we recorded, I was going through, and there's this guy on TikTok called Swagmaster, and he does a lot of, I know it's which is very funny, but he does a lot of Zelda lore. And
Right.
one of the things, the one that I saw today was, he goes, one of the things I hate the most is when somebody criticizes another person for being a new fan of Zelda, because we were all new fans of Zelda at some point. Even
Right.
if you were like me, the first game I played was the first game. You're still a new fan. And for you to say to somebody, what you think is a good game in this series is irrelevant because you are not a true fan, is just shitting on the idea of people having opinions. You know what I mean? Like, so you can't say, "Oh, Breath of the Wild is the best game." Well, you don't know anything about that because you weren't there when Ocarina came out. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Same
Right.
with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Star Wars can be very bad, and it's funny to a point because you see like Ahmad Best having his career resurgent after like literally being heckled off of stages.
Yeah.
You have Jake Lloyd who was like mocked to a point as a child that he actually he like was institutionalized, right? You have Rose Tycho who like basically was like, I am getting off of social media because of decisions made by people that it wasn't them. It's not, and that's kind of the thing that bothers me about, right. I am pride myself in enjoying a lot of these fandoms, and it bothers me when somebody says, "No, you are not that. You don't fall into this bucket, so you don't have a right to an opinion."
Right.
Which is, I think, a podcast we're probably going to end up doing soon. Video game.
There's always those outcropping of people that just I don't get the whole gaping. Yeah.
I don't get the gaping, baby.
I don't get the gaping issues. I don't get the gatekeeping shit. Like, you want people to like your shit, but then they start to, and you're like, well, you're wrong because you started here. It's like, well, someone's got to start somewhere.
Right.
Right.
And I think my opinion on that is not to mention the fact that you're an asshole for
No, I'm not.
if you're those type of people are assholes for not wanting to hear somebody else out because their opinion is not the same as theirs.
Right.
But at the same time, if you want you want more of your shit, you have to you have to accept those new
Yes.
new fans, because they're the ones that are going to be paying for that new shit.
Right. I also saw a thing recently about, like, it was, again, some guy doing a brief expose on it, and a thing that you have to get uncomfortable with is if you like something, if it's going to appeal to a broad audience, the people who make it are not going to appeal to you. They
Right.
know you're going to buy it. It's inconsequential whether or not you like a decision that's made. You're still going to go
Right.
see it. The thing is, you need to get people who don't like it to see it.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's the point of making that thing?
And that's why you hope and see companies not really doing the safe route or whatever. They're appealing to the wider audience rather than the hardcore people who they've already invested in and got. You're not going to make anything if you don't start broadening your horizons.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So is the... I don't even know. Where would you rate it on like a 1 to 10 scale? A solid 6 like everyone's saying? Or you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a good 7. I like the interaction between Grogu and Mando. I like their, father-son dynamic, which also weirdly falls into a pet territory because he constantly tells Grogu to heal. It's like heal. People are dying at that one.
Interesting.
I liked it. I think that they're trying to learn their lesson from like Rise of Skywalker, for example, right? Where they had this huge pressure to release something that greatly affected lore and greatly affected the entire mythos of Star Wars, and people thought it was hot garbage.
Well, they needed a clear vision, and they changed it 3 different times between directors. So, of course, it's
Right.
not going to work well.
Right, but I think they were like, okay, we're going to hedge our bets. We know what we want to do in this movie. We want to. I mean, they're selling merchandise. That's what it is. Like literally, the reason why this movie came, and I'm not opposed to it. I mean,
Disney's got to recoup their investments.
I guess so.
Just
and
like
I mean,
Sony with Destiny and Bungie. Oh shit! What are we going to talk about today?
call back. All right. So, regardless, I say see the movie, enjoy it for what it is. So we're going into it, huh?
No, I want to talk about Absolum first.
Man,
I'm sorry. That's a tease.
Burying the lead.
Yeah,
Man.
something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. I didn't even establish this. Is this going to be like a... Is this episode 87? Or is this... Wait, are we on episode 87? I don't remember.
Let's call it 87.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I didn't know if we were going to be like, let's talk about Destiny 2. Or the death of Destiny.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry.
I mean, I think that this is enough about... This is a large enough topic in general news that it could stand as a numbered episode.
Yeah. Right. Ramblepack Podcast episode 87. I'm sorry that I'm sad Destiny's leaving Adam.
I'm a washed out warlock Mike.
Oh.
And don't gatekeep the Star Wars universe, Sean.
Damn it. Mike, I should have said I gotta hang up my cape since I'm a hunter. Damn it.
Oh, Jesus.
It was right there. I missed it.
Oh my god.
Oh, well. That's okay. We'll talk about all the sad Destiny news in a minute, because I think that's going to take over a lot of the conversation. But, Mike, you got to play Absolum. Sean, you and I have been playing Absolum. I have completed Absolum entirely by myself. So, what do you guys think? Yeah, dude, when the game first came out, I had seen it 2 weeks before it debuted on the PlayStation First specifically. And I was like, this looks interesting. I think I told you guys about it and played it, and I loved it. I played the entirety of it. It was great. I couldn't put it down. And now you guys get to experience the majesty that is Absolum. I'm giving it high praise here.
To be honest, for a beat 'em up game, I like it because normally it's difficult to keep track of like characters in those type of games on the side scrollers.
It's difficult to keep track of these characters too sometimes.
It is, but at least the abilities are forgiving enough, and the progression of like different abilities that you can pick up along the way.
Do you like the roguelike aspects?
Yes,
Okay.
I do like this very much.
Cool.
Especially when you get to see like weird combos you wouldn't expect. Like that last run we did, I was a dwarf with a fucking shotgun, And every time I used the flamethrower ability, I was summoning a skeleton,
Mm-hmm.
and that's per bar. So at
Right.
one point, I had four, was running the flamethrower and had 4 skeletons summoned.
Yeah, he had 4 mana chunks. He would just throw out a super and just keep summoning skeletons.
I was doing that. I did that with oh my gosh, the elf lady,
Galandra.
Calandra, which by the way is like I'm maining her. Like she has the perfect combination of me for with like I liked Dwarf Guy and I liked
Carl.
Scary
Funny
Frogman
enough.
and I liked yeah and oh go on.
I was just naming the names.
Oh,
Carl.
I thought you said funny enough.
No. His name is Carl with a K instead of a C, funny enough.
Um and
Then Galandra and Brome and Cider.
Cider I liked as well, but like she's
Mm.
too weak.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with me being kind of early on this, I'm like, I just want to get some DPS down.
You think Cider's
Yeah.
weak. Brome is weak. But you build around his Arcana, and dude, he's busted.
Yeah, he's like
I was gonna
broken.
say, if you're gonna call that guy, the guy you were playing as yesterday, weak, then holy fuck.
Yeah, Brome. If
Yeah.
you can make the characters busted, like Mike, Sean and I were playing the other night. I told you about it. I was playing Carl, and I got the thing where you can pound your fist on the enemy in the air 3 different times. So I would jump,
Yeah.
pound him 3 times, do another move where you do the shotgun thing, so you get chopped back up in the air, do 3 more times, and I was just flying back and forth across the screen.
We that was I like how snappy it is.
Yes.
I love a good roguelike progression. Like at the end of each round, you get your choice of a power up to build your character out for the following part of that run.
Hmm.
And also that the 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 gameplay loop involves you die, you go back to the mother gives you a level up, you visit a
Yeah.
few different people to give you some chichkas, and then you go back out and you just beat ass again.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that I wish that they would do, and I think this is more selfish for me, is that they would have 3 player. That would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Mike and I said that last night too. It's like we need to have this be 3 player.
I know. I
I'm
mean,
wondering if that's why they're giving you the option to be able to hire people.
Mercenaries were in the game. You can do it single player too. It's always been there.
But even then, even not even 3, just 3, maybe 4. I think would be fine. 1 to be able to play each character.
Ooh, that'd be awesome if they could do that and scale the enemy health and stuff like that with it. That would be
Right.
awesome. What don't you guys like about the game?
I think I think that's a perfect game insofar as it's very easy to jump in.
Yep.
It's a beat 'em up. There's not really a lot of like even if you're just mashing, the light attack button, you still get
Yep.
shit done.
Mhm.
I mean, again, for me, it'd be great if they could like offer 3 player support. That would be awesome. The main world gets a little bit disjointed because everything's kind of in its own spot and you kind of have to remember where everything is. And especially when you're playing, like, you could do the route when you pick your route. You sometimes, like, we did this a couple times, we forgot, oh, yeah, we have a quest on here. We have to go down here to
Yep.
get this, to do this, to do this. And there are points too where there's like you'll have multiple quests going, and there's no real tracker for it. So
Yeah.
you'll end up in a situation where you're like, oh yeah, I did the radiator thing, so the gate's open. Oh yeah, I got to do that now.
At least when you open up the map, it'll show you all the markers, even if you're not in that area. So you just have to remember to do that and go the correct route. Or,
Right.
in some instances, find the secret way to get there.
Right. Um, I mean, aside from that, like I really like for the most part, I enjoyed the entirety of it. Like there's not a lot that I would say that like turns me off from that game. It's really good.
Mike?
Agreed. And this is more. I guarantee this is more user error than anything else. Is not being able to track my character very well. But like I said, they made up for it with the way the attacks are handled, um, and the progression with the abilities. Um, anything that I would like them to do, something like that, which I think that's going to go away with playing it more. It's it's not a serious game, if that makes sense. Like, it's a cool story, but it's not like the serious tones of Destiny or Marathon or other games along those lines. This, you could just pick up, go, have fun, follow along the story, and not really.
I see Adam's face, and I think the reason Adam has that face is I actually agree with you, Mike. But I think what Adam, and you've been hinting this to me a couple times, there is a much deeper story that we have not gotten into yet.
What I'm stuck on is Mike said that the story's not really serious, but the thrust of the story is this dude's taken over the area that you're in or the whole world or whatever, and he's enslaving people and capturing spirits to put into the machines that they're sending out to capture you magic users and shit. The story is not serious at all.
I mean, that's also the story of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's like,
yeah.
It has a because of the style of the game. It has a toony feel to it. It's not.
No, I agree with you, Mike. I think I like in a very similar way to Marathon, like the story is kind of an ancillary point. It's not really like the important thing.
Right.
The important thing for me is just going up and punching dudes in the face over and over again.
So that is my actual next question: is what do you guys think about the story so far? If you've been paying attention to it or put things together, like, do you care enough that you've paid attention to it, or is it just like it's background noise? Whatever happened is cool.
Pretty much that. For me, it's kind of like a, okay, there is a story. I don't care enough about the story to be like 100% like oh no, this is not worth it. Yeah, I like the story is a nice addition to it, but I'm also like, okay, whatever. There's a story. Big freaking whoop.
I enjoy it for for the base story. I understand the base story enough. I'm not really a good, and I like stories. My thing is I can't use this last playthrough as a good example, is because it's the first time I'm playing it, and I also had Callie was in the living room with a baby, so you could hear the baby, and then Morgan kept getting in and out of the bed, so I was paying attention enough, but not really paying attention, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. So I guess my follow-up question would be, do you want me to spoil any of the story stuff, or you guys just want to experience it?
Let's keep going, because I also don't want you to spoil it on here, especially if somebody's going to be like, hey, this game looks pretty cool. And I heard them talking about it.
I don't want to spoil a year or two old game now.
Listen, man, I had problems where I was like, forget what game we were talking about. It might have been something in the Zelda one where I was like, hey, spoiler alert for this 25-year-old game.
It happens. Dotemu, please make it 3-player. We need another person so we can all play together.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Do it.
This is more for me, but I just realized recently, do you guys remember ever hearing a game called Void Bastards?
No.
It was a small roguelike first-person shooter anyway. They actually made a sequel, not in the same universe, but a similar game that was called something else, Bastards. I don't remember. But I just learned that they made another one, so I want to check it out. Just found it interesting. Who has watched the Baki series or knows about it?
I don't know what that is.
Sound familiar? Is that the one where like the big muscly guys?
Yes. Yujiro Hanma. Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah.
He can move his brain so he doesn't get shot or whatever it is.
Oh, Jesus.
Some dumb shit like that. He was teased for Tekken 8. Yujiro's going to be in Tekken 8. Tekken 8.
Jesus.
Yeah, funny stuff. I saw that earlier too. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I think one of the cooler ones that they did for Tekken, I think it was Tekken 7, was putting Noctis in there.
Did they do that?
Yeah. They also had Negan in there, so makes sense out of that. I think Noctis was cool as a character, though, to have.
Again, it still surprises the hell out of me that Square lets their characters outside, are letting their characters outside of the wheelhouse.
What else have Square characters been in besides, Sora in Super Smash Brothers, Noctis in Tekken?
Yeah.
What else?
Well, not just Sora. Sora was
Oh, yeah,
definitely
fuck,
surprising
yeah,
because
you're right.
that was Disney.
Cloud and Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's very particular ones. Like, what other games have had crossovers with any of the Final Fantasy characters?
I know Cloud was in, if I'm not mistaken, Fire Emblem.
Really?
I'm trying to, or it's a game similar to that.
That's interesting. I need to see this.
Because the irony of what it was is where he was in the game. You know how in Final Fantasy VII he becomes a vegetable for a little while because he was overexposed.
Yeah.
I
like the way you put
the
that.
The way that crossover happened was they're trying to play off that while he was a vegetable in his world, his consciousness went over to that world.
Oh. What? How does your consciousness get like a physical form? And don't say magic.
I don't know. I don't freaking know. It's Japanese games, dude.
Fair enough. I'm sure Sean knows about this, but does anybody care about Dead by Daylight?
I mean,
they have Jason finally coming into the game as one of the killers.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the same reaction I had to him. Like, oh, didn't they already have Jason? But I guess not, apparently. So, yay. Matter of time.
So, by the way, just to touch back on what Mike's saying, I was looking up the appearances of Cloud Strife, and Cloud appears in a Bravely Default game.
Okay, that's another Square game, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're mostly, like, their IP extends to, aside from Smash Brothers.
They keep it in-house, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Capcom does something similar, too, with their characters.
Oh, my God, yeah. Like, Marvel versus Capcom is, like, the only one where
they're... Yes, but, like, Dead Rising, you can get the Mega Buster in the game.
Really?
Yeah. You have to kill a certain amount of zombies within a certain time limit, and it'll show up somewhere. And you can use it and charge it up and kill zombies with it.
Cool. I don't know. Cool.
Yay.
Yay.
Did you know, because I didn't know this, that there was almost a Halo MMO?
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about the... I can't tell if that's would be a good thing or a bad thing.
From what I was reading and seeing on this person's art station for the stuff, it's probably good reason why it wasn't made. It's really weird when you see like Forerunner people walking around in like thongs that are sticking out of their pants and they're entirely blue and they don't look right. That doesn't fit Halo.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that ends up happening. Like, it's the open world game conundrum where everyone's like, hey, you know what? It'd be really, really good if we had made this game into an open world game where it's like...
They did that with Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
But it's not an MMO. It's just an open world. Do your missions, go to these places to do whatever and get the story. It was a cool change, but like it didn't really do much for it, in my opinion.
I think that's the thing where it's like you could do it. You gotta make. You can't just say, "Hey, we're gonna make an open world." You got to make that work with the environment. Like, because, oh my God, game that we always talk about. Oh my God.
A little more, please.
You know the Age of Imprisonment, Zelda Age of Imprisonment,
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, thank you. Dynasty Warriors wasn't their last one of their last mainline games in open world, and it did fucking horribly because everyone was like, "We're running
Yeah,
around. There's nothing to do."
yeah, not the last one that came out, because that one you don't even play as one of the commanders. You're just your own officer that you make, and you follow the commanders that you choose. I think the one before that, yes, it was open world. It was supposed to be super pretty, graphical, and all that stuff. But people were just like, it chugs, it runs like crap. It's not very fun. There's a lot of nothing. So, cool idea in practice, not really.
Yeah,
Oh well.
gotcha.
Yeah. The new Lego Batman what? Lego Batman came out. Legacy of the Dark Knight.
I was watching some stuff on that, and
Mhm.
like
It's getting great
I've never
reviews.
been, yeah, I've never been big into the Lego games, but I will be honest with you. One of the intriguing things is like you have a bat cave, you can fly around, you can customize. It has functional application. You can have like 70 Batman suits, and like it's it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And I think from what I've heard, it's like the best Arkham game that has come out since like Arkham Knight.
Nice.
I mean,
The
I'll
Lego
say
games
this
are
for like,
solid.
yeah, like I was just gonna say, the Lego games are pretty decent.
Yes. And we're getting that's one of the bigger things too is we're getting new different Lego games because it was always by Traveler's Tale, I think, that was making them, and that was up until last year, the year before, something like that. We
Yeah,
got Lego Voyagers and a couple different ones, and it was made by different developers this time instead of Traveler's Tales. So it's cool to see that they're finally opening up whatever and letting other people take a shot. Kind of like with the Star
right.
Wars IP and how EA had it under lock and key for a long time.
Jesus.
And then they trashed it.
Yeah, with Battlefront 2.
I
You
mean,
want Darth
that's
Vader?
it.
Give me $50.
Oh yeah, I will say this: from what I've heard, they've done a really good job of like bringing that game back. Like supposedly, it's actually like a decent, fun game to
Oh
play
yeah,
now. It's one
it
of
was
those.
always great. It's just the
Well,
monetization
they
of it was shit.
right, but they got rid of the monetization, and they were basically like, okay, we get it, we fucked up, and it became decent. Like I think that's kind of the thing that, and again, going back to this thing of we have to make it mass appeal for the general audience so that people will buy it.
Right.
Something like that makes me feel like they're trying to get money from the diehard fans, and that kind of bugs me, right? Where it's
Hmm.
like, oh, you've been following this IP for whatever. You want to play as Vader? Cool. Shell out some cash.
Yeah.
This Destiny didn't do that at all.
Mm.
I would argue that they didn't. It's just more expensive than the other ones. Oh, what was I going to say about Battlefront? Their AMA that the developers did not long after the game came out is still like one of the most downvoted ever AMAs, like
Really?
in the history of Reddit. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I get it. Like,
Kick the hornet's nest, me.
I mean, that's kind of the thing where there's some detriment again to having like a gate kept fandom, but there's also this thing of like the most vocal people is going to be the people that are buying your shit. And like, if you put something out there where it's like, yeah, you can definitely, if you want to, unless you want to play as a stormtrooper, you're gonna have to shell out hundreds of dollars. It's like, no, fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah.
I've been watching this goddamn movie for the past 37 years. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. It didn't help that the game was super grindy too. Like you didn't have to shell out money, but you would sit there and play it. You would have to play for hours on end to get the in-game credits to get the characters you want.
Yeah,
It's
see, that
terrible.
bugs the shit at me.
Yeah. All right. We're already at about 42 minutes. Do we want to just spend the
Yeah,
rest
let's
of the
rip
time
off the
talking about
Band-Aid.
everything? Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. After 12 long years of constant Destiny stuff and everything, well, actually, I think it's almost 12 years for Destiny 2 specifically. There is no more content in development for Destiny 2. their last shipment of stuff is coming out June 6th, 9th, something like that. And while it is a handful of things that a lot of the players that were still hanging on or have been around since the beginning wanted, such as Sparrow Racing League, certain dungeons, raids, story beats, whatever, a lot of those things are coming back. Amongst all this stuff too, there's some calls for them to, like, the players want the devs to put back in the original campaign for people to experience now, since they hadn't gotten to. They want to be able to access like way old content and shit that went into the Destiny content vault, which was a thing. But obviously no word on that. They're giving some more aspects to your character so that way you can do different things. They are not taking down the Eververse store, which was their paid mechanic for your transmog stuff to make your character look like however you want. But they are adding a lot of that shit to the free pool, so you can get it, and I believe it's on a lockout system where if you get it, you're not going to get the same one. So you can start filling out your entire Eververse vault if you want to collect that stuff. They're also doing a couple of like quality of life improvements, making fixes to the game so that way it keeps running. But come June, there is not going to be any new content for the game after that drop. It's just going to exist as it is. Still be able to access the game, still be able to play with your friends, still be able to hop on and do things. It's just going to be... and this is... I didn't really think much of it until now, but it's like what The Witness was doing, Mike. One perfect final shape of the game.
Oh,
one constant state that doesn't change.
Oh my fucking god.
The absolute. How you like that?
So
The Witness won in the end after all that.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Destiny players will get that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sad. It sucks.
Yeah.
That was a game that I literally played for its inception, from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, no breaks.
Yeah. I want to say I got into Destiny before even meeting you. Callie's dad was interested, got me into the game, and we played up until D2 was released. And then we had kids.
Yeah.
But no, that was good time. I actually liked that. It was first time playing a shooter game that didn't make me feel like I was shit, pretty much. And then that's how you and I got to bond, honestly. Was through Destiny 2.
Yeah, I had to drag you back into Destiny 2 because we were bouncing around from game to game trying different things to play together. And I'm like, hey, you played this. Come back on.
Yeah.
And then that became our nightly game.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
What are you... Well, it's not like you're going to miss it if it still exists and be able to play it, but what's a fond memory you have of playing Destiny? Like, what drew you into constantly playing or coming back to it? Try to sell Sean on the game now while it's done.
No, honestly, it's coming back. At the beginning, it was basically just I actually found the game fun once Callie's dad got me into it. Like, I played it out of obligation because he bought it for me and wanted somebody to play with him. So we did that, but I actually got into the game and went all the way. I want to say till the because we ported over our character from D1 to D2. But coming back was more the camaraderie thing, like how we got into
Expand
Marathon,
upon
basically. I can honestly tell you, if it wasn't for you, I would not have gotten back into Destiny at that time.
Was it not something you could do by yourself? Like, there was no appeal?
Pretty much, yeah. Because my father-in-law wasn't too interested at that point. By the time I got back on, but when we did, you and I got on, and then Brian got on, and then
Just us being able to work towards building out my at that time building out my character, running dungeons, stuff like that.
Running dungeons was my favorite thing to do.
Oh hell yeah!
It's like raid lights, but with only 3 people. It was fun.
And then yeah, and I loved exploiting the cheeses when they came out too.
I like Bungie's Bungie.
Bungie?
Jesus Christ. I like Bungie's approach to that kind of thing too. They don't you don't get in trouble for doing that unless it's exploitative. If there is a bug in the game and you are able to replicate it and it's not intentionally harming somebody else's fun, more power to you. It's the same reason why when the Prometheus lens came out that it was basically laser tag. That thing was shooting out so much damage. It's just like you touch someone and they die. So, like, they were like, okay, well, we're going to give everybody the gun. This weekend's going to be nothing but clusterfuck for PvP. And on Tuesday, we're going to put out a patch to fix the gun. Until then, have fun. So, it was laser tag for the weekend, and everybody who played it and participated got an emblem after that from Bungie because they're like, yeah, you guys found a thing, and we made fun of it and fixed it. And that's just the shit that they do.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, look at Ghost of the Deep. How many weeks did it was that cheese around?
A while.
Yeah.
And people exploited it, us including. We used it, and they didn't take
I'm
our
still
armor
wearing
away.
my exploits.
They didn't take away things. They didn't roll back characters, nothing like that. They were just like,
Nah.
it's in the game. We'll patch it out, but until then, whee! They have a good head about that when it comes to shit like that in their games. They're like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
The only time that has changed has been Marathon. Because there was a dude who found a cheese in Cryo where you can like hop up to a thing, get through one of the barriers, and get into one of the vaults to do the thing. So he did that, got behind the compiler, waited till a team defeated the compiler, looted all the shit, and then took them out and stole all their stuff and left. And because he did that, Bungie's like, we're aware of this, we're investigating it to see what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. They fixed that in the map, and that dude received a week suspension, I think it was, because it intentionally harmed somebody else's gameplay by exploiting something in their game. That was one of the only times that they've ever actually instituted a ban on someone for something like that.
No shit. Okay. I was
And
gonna say I haven't heard of any cheeses yet.
Yeah, even with Destiny, I think they've had to roll back characters one time in all that stuff that's gone on.
Didn't they do a rollback with the craft ending?
No, they fixed that exploit. They didn't have to roll back anything. It was just they made a change and disabled something on the weapon so it wouldn't take the aspects of the two weapons combined onto it. They had figured out how that was being done and fix it to where it doesn't work. So they didn't have to roll anything back or take anything away.
Okay. I'm trying to remember when the rollback was.
I don't remember. I just know it happened one time. Sean.
No.
Are you alive?
Actually, so it's funny. I'm looking to see, because so first of all, I mean again because it's free to play, right? I already have. I can download it. I have in terms of add-ons already, which I've accumulated because again I've been a PlayStation Plus member for a million years, so I got a bunch of free ones. I have the Final Shape. I have. I don't know what the. I have the 30th anniversary pack, whatever that means. I have Lightfall. I have the Witch Queen, and so and then I've got a bunch of like random legacy collection things. I don't know. Maybe I'll download it.
So it sounds like you have all of the packs except for the newest one.
I don't have. I don't have Renegades. What is Year of the Prophecy? Oh, is that just a that? I think that's just a.
That's the add-on stuff from the prophecy period of Destiny 2, I believe. Do you remember any of that, Mike? That was when like the pyramid ships came in and the Nine were talking to you about what's going to happen, and like doing. Do you remember doing the stuff with the tree every week and getting visions? And that's how we got the void laser that turns into void balls. I forget what it's called.
Oh my God. It wasn't at the beginning, right?
No.
No, this was just before Renegades, wasn't it?
No, this was the midpoint working towards the final shape. I believe
Why
this
don't
was
I
just before the
remember?
Witch Queen.
Oh, then no. I think I get. You got me in. Towards the end of the Witch Queen, they were just about to release Lightfall.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And I'm looking at it now. It looks like it's just 2 packs. It's the Edge of Fate and Renegades.
Yeah.
Um.
Edge
I
of
mean,
Fate
hell. I mean.
is Edge of Fate is the new story series. Renegade is just an addition to it.
Okay.
It's also cool
So
that they that's basically separate from Destiny 2 proper. So, in all technicality, I guess you don't really need it unless you wanted access to like the Star Wars weapons and things. But you really don't need it to just play regular Destiny 2 with us.
Was there any new dungeons in those?
There is the dungeon for Renegades where you get your lightsaber, or to use
Yeah.
the lightsaber in it. But again, not necessary. Don't really need it.
Yeah.
shit, I might download it tonight after we do our thing.
Since you are not hardcore into Destiny or that community and stuff, and you said this is more or less your first Bungie game in Marathon, what has it looked like since? Like, what have you picked up about Destiny 2 before and after they announced that they're not making any more content?
I mean, my whole experience with Destiny,
I want to know what your
basically,
perception is
of Destiny.
of like what's been going on. Like,
I
what have you
I
seen? What
I
have you read? What is your opinion?
just of Destiny and Destiny 2. I
Just
mean, like,
just of the news and what's been going on.
I mean, I feel bad for like for any long running series where it's been a fan favorite and there's diehard people on it. I feel bad for the people that are like you guys. Like, it's a it's a fundamental. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
Cade.
It's a fundamental game. I actually am kind of like one. It was always intimidating for me to even contemplate downloading it because again, I wasn't in that space, and I ran into the problem. I legitimately do not know how a game like that functions in terms of like if I started it now that it's ending, what does that even look like? I mean, I'm sure I could just run the story beats and whatever, but like it's interesting. I've always been interested in downloading it, but I just never had the opportunity to. So I mean, yeah, might as well. I have a few of the expansion packs for free already that have just been sitting in my thing doing nothing. So
Have you had a
I
lot of MMO experience?
no, God no. I've stayed very far away from the MMO space.
Okay. So that's basically what the game is, an MMO FPS RPG hybrid.
Right.
But like typically with MMOs and things, you'll have dailies that you'll run or like weekly challenges and stuff like that, hardcore dungeons for people, raids, whatever. That's generally is like you'll run through the story, you'll pick up your stuff, you'll upgrade your character, and then once you've hit the end of the story, you do your dailies, you do your weekly challenges, you run those dungeons, you do whatever to get better armor, upgrade your character, get better stuff, use your
Right.
new currencies on all the different MacGuffins for your character and all that stuff.
Can
That's
you
basically what you're
run
doing.
it solo?
Yes. Some things.
All right.
What's cool too about Destiny is like they design a lot of those dungeons or strikes and things to be for 3 players. You can absolutely solo them. It's a pain in the dick, but you can do it.
And there's some bastards that are that hardcore that will do it by themselves and never get hit and somehow
There are
find
people
enjoyment
who
out of that.
somehow complete raids solo.
That's
How
wild.
the fuck do you do that?
I know. They somehow do it. I don't know. And these people are cracked when they play that.
Like the last raid I did, granted that was D1, I'm pretty sure there were aspects that you had to have the 6 players.
I didn't hear anybody soloing stuff in D1. It was always in D2.
Yeah.
Like,
All
it
right.
was a couple months ago, but I saw somebody finally soloed The Witness on the end, all by himself. I'm just like, how?
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Sean, I don't know how much you kept up with news, but I'm curious, since like Destiny was always in and out of a typical news cycle, what did it seem like was up with the game when you saw it pop up? Would you think like the game is dying, why people don't like the game, it's doing
So
great?
for the most part, I had no. I don't want to say I had no interest. Basically, when I started doing this podcast and you sent me the lore video, that
Mhm.
really long 4 hour one, it was it's intriguing. One of the things that really got me into like that made me start thinking about playing it was just the lore. There's so much of it. And one of the things that I both like and dislike about Marathon is that the lore is there and you can get as granular as you want, but for the most part, if you didn't know anything about the lore, you can still play the game. It's kind of ancillary to anything that you're doing.
Mhm.
With Destiny, again, my experience with Destiny has been through you two, and for the most part, you guys have been like, "Oh, they fucked it up again," you know.
Yeah,
So
and to be fair, you're coming in at like the low point too, because when we were playing, man, the highs were so high. The game was hitting on all cylinders. It was so
right,
much fun.
yeah. One of the things, just in kind of preparation for this, I was kind of just looking through. I literally just typed in Destiny and see what people are saying, and like, basically, there's a push, and I guess they have 120,000 signatures to
Yes.
do a Destiny 3, and like that's not going to happen.
No. The petition's not going to do it to it. And like Jason Schreier recently pointing out too, like there have been a lot of questions as to why when they knew Destiny was wrapping up with the final shape, why didn't they start development on D3 instead? And it just comes down to money.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
game
I
is the
mean,
game itself is expensive as hell to run and develop content for on a consistent cadence to keep people engaged. But like just stopping and starting over from scratch and building up a new game, it's not enough money.
right. I mean, it's the same thing with any. And like, it was funny because they on PC Gamer they put out a and again, it's a cheap shit poll, but they
Hmm.
put out a poll. Basically, it was what are what would you like to see next from Bungie? So basically, it was um, and this is going to be good because we brought this up when Megan was just on a few seconds ago.
Okay.
It was Destiny 3, um, a new IP,
Hmm.
somehow Halo 7.
They don't own the IP.
Um, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Um, Marathon, just put everything back into Marathon, and
Okay.
then it was Myth 4.
What?
So
What?
right. So hold on. So the spread was
Can we just do
in
Pathways
this
into
one.
Darkness too?
So that actually was. They actually mentioned that they were like, we didn't even put in some of the older IPs,
Ay, ay,
and
ay.
like, but they said basically they were like, what they were just trying to see what do people want
Right.
in this one poll.
This is the
74%
worst
of
time to
people,
ask it too because people are going to be voting emotionally.
correct, and everyone voted for 74% of people voted for Destiny 3.
No surprise.
14% voted for a new IP. 6% voted for Halo 7, right? And
Why?
then 4% of people in this poll voted for nothing and just betting on Marathon. 4%. So, like, again, this is I don't know who was in the poll. I don't know how it was presented. Data in and of itself pulled from a poll is always suspect depending on how it's configured. And now you're correct. This is not an objective time to get data on whether or not if they did this like a week ago, I can almost guarantee you Destiny 3 would probably be at the bottom,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But now it's at the top.
Yep.
That being said, it is interesting the amount of people that you would think that it would be, oh no, invest more money into Marathon. It's like, no, they're like, people were more looking forward to Halo 7. And basically, like, even the person in this article is like, we put it on there as a lark. There's no way that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like, people are more intrigued in this one poll for PlayStation to go to Microsoft and say, "Hey, we'll give you our development studio so we can make a game that we won't make any money on," than investing in the game that they've already invested in.
Yeah, it's just it. I know that those polls are mainly for engagement and shit like that, but it's just it doesn't work. You can't ask questions at hardcore times like that. Don't get good data.
Right.
Speaking of not getting good data either, of course, like we said, people are emotional with the shutting down of making content for Destiny. That those louder players and stuff that are more vocal have started to review bomb Marathon in response to it.
Yeah. And
Which,
like,
of
that's
course,
also
that's the thing too. Is like they're blaming Marathon for this stuff, not paying attention to all the issues and stumbling blocks that Destiny has had trying to maintain the player base that they did. Especially when, like, even the people who played the game at the time, when the final shape came out and it was the end of the Light and Darkness saga, the lead up for 10 years, 11 years, whatever, they knew that there was going to be this huge cliff after the game, or after that shipped, that it was just going to take a nosedive, because where do you go from there? You literally wrapped up a 10-year-long story with a gigantic and like universe-ending boss that was like the main crux of everything. Where do you go from there?
right. And the answer is you don't.
Yeah, and they
Right.
try to.
It's
Like, more on
right,
them.
it's
Good on them for trying. Like, I'm not going to
right.
complain. Renegades was great. The Edge of Fate, it's the idea of the story was cool. They're great at their lore. I love reading the stories and the characters and the world building shit that they do. But it was always going to be an uphill battle to claw back at just a portion of the players who dropped off after that.
Right. And like, to be fair, I mean, it's the Marvel after Endgame conundrum.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Like, right. Like, you've done the thing. It's now done. How do you continue to make money on it? What probably should have happened is, instead of, if they were serious about going into keeping with Destiny as an IP, would be to, while they were putting out this last bit of content, start development on Destiny 3. But they didn't. Instead, they were like, we're just going to keep going with what we got. We already have a dwindling player base. Okay, well, now we have nothing. So what do we do?
One of the, I'm going to toot my own horn because I think this was a great idea, but I think that at the end of the Edge of Fate, why not make some sort of thing happen in the universe, whether it's just like, call it a virtual reality, call it playing memories, whatever. Why not go back to the start? Let people experience the story in its whole entirety from beginning to end, and make it the same cadence as you've been setting out the content. That'll at least feed you some development money so you can start making D3 or continue development on it later on.
Right. Actually, that was one of the things that has held me back about actually playing it. Is like, I've never played Destiny 1. I'm not going to. Is it worth playing Destiny 2? Am I missing out on a whole chunk of stuff?
Before, no. Now, yes. Just because they've taken that stuff out and there's no way to access it in game anymore.
Right. So, like, and again, I'm probably am going to download it tonight, just so, like, whatever, slap it on, see what the hubbub's about. But
If you like Marathon's gunplay, you're gonna love Destiny's.
yeah, I do like Marathon's gunplay, and the one thing I think that they should learn from Destiny and something like Marathon again is, you need to have something. The gameplay loop in Marathon is punishing to a point where I think we're pretty solidly into it now, but like, it's not like, there are points where it's not fun. It's just, you're just like, oh, well, I died
Yep.
again for the 50th fucking time. This is horrible, and I just want to go to bed now. And like, it would be nice if they put some variety into it, and seeing something like, I mean, again, you have raid bosses and shit in Destiny, but I'm sure there were other things you could do, and there were like meaningful story beats in other characters.
Yeah,
The only
right.
characters you meet in Marathon are when you complete a contract, and it's just like, basically like a cool, like I don't know,
a giant
word
cinematic
art
of your head
thing.
or
Yeah,
a worm talking to you.
right, exactly. And it's like, I have no, like,
The real story with
yeah.
Marathon though lies in the codexes, like with the voice acting and telling the stories and stuff, and that needs to be more in your face and easily accessible. because that's where everything starts tying together. But getting those is you have to do the contracts to
Right.
earn those codecs to hear those story beats. And all of it
Right.
kind of ties together, but that is not as approachable as just like jumping in and playing the game, because if you don't get your contract done, you have to redo it. You keep dying
Right.
over and over, you're never going to complete it. You're never going to see those beats. You're never going to learn the story.
Right. And again, it's not that I'm not shitting on Marathon, and I'm not gonna be on that bandwagon that's like, why did they make this game? It's more of it's an interesting choice to take something with such a storied IP like Marathon
Hmm.
and put it into a genre that inherently does not necessarily facilitate
It's very niche.
heavy, right, very hardcore lore dumps.
Yeah.
That's just not what happens. And I agree with you. I think they need to do something in game to tie it back to the actual story of the damn thing. And again, we're in season 1.
Yeah.
That's I'm not expecting a lot.
I'm
But
hoping
when you
season
get
2
this,
brings the aliens.
right, and an explanation of the aliens, because again, like if a compiler shows up, like you're going to be like, okay, cool.
That's where you need to have played
We
Marathon 1, but they can't do that with the new one. You can't just say, go play the original.
right, because you're gonna yeah. Could you imagine you go back in, you're like, wait, what the fuck is this? This is Doom.
I love
Like
the joke.
Space Doom.
I love the joke posts on Marathon where it's like, look, I've got this, and they're showing the original Marathon.
And like, and again, that's kind of the thing that throws me for a loop, is basically that it's I kind of yearn for that story. I was, again, talking with somebody that I work with. He was like, I play single player games because I love story. Normally, I'm that way too. And even when I was in my Call of Duty era, right? Like there at least is a campaign in Call of Duty,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And those were
And
separate.
right.
Where was the
And you
turn where
could,
they started combining those two?
I don't remember. I jumped off of Call of Duty like after Black Ops 2.
Well, it wasn't
Like
even just
back
Call of
in,
Duty that did it. There was a handful of games that would combine multiplayer and single player just for the story.
right. And it's like I don't mind that, but like I like the idea of partitioning it out. And the thing about Call of Duty that they did well too was it wasn't just multiplayer campaign. It was like you had like they were like special things that you could run, like with like you by
Oh
yourself
yeah,
or
they had
like
spec ops and
challenges.
stuff.
Right. And you could do things like you have to defend one thing, right? And you just have wave for wave of enemies.
Halo
That
ended up
was
having that too.
and it's
They
so
had
much
the single
fun.
player, and they actually wove multiplayer into the actual story. Like you are a certain, I forget what it is, like it's Spartan 4s maybe or Spartan 6s, but you're basically in VR training as your Spartan. So that's the whole gist of multiplayer. But then they also had like Spartan Ops, where you take your Spartan in, you're doing a strike mission or whatever, similar to Destiny. You go in, do your thing, and get out.
Right.
And that was a big
And
change
like
because it was always just single player, multiplayer, and that was it.
and like that's the thing that kind of bothers me about, well, not bothers me, but that's the thing I think is lacking. And if you want the reason why Call of Duty appealed to such a main audience was again it was the bro code thing of okay cool you're a real soldier now, but on top of that you had that variation on what you were doing. If there was an extraction shooter combined with some sort of like actual campaign, I think you would have gotten a much broader audience. But with the only way that you get any lore is by playing an extraction shooter for a game that was like, well before our time, right? On PC, if you were trying to get that crowd to play your game, I don't think this is the way to do it.
Hmm.
Again, I love it. I will play it. We're gonna play it tonight probably.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I don't know if that's conducive to like a mass appeal game where everyone's going to come in and be like, "Oh yeah, this is the greatest game ever made."
Right.
Right.
And I'd see a lot of touches of Destiny in Marathon 2, especially with the interactions with different attachments that you can put on your gun, or like building your runner based on your implants and things like that. Which I'm glad that they made whatever it's called, the cradle, I think, for season 2, where you can have a little more freedom around how you set up your runner for like their stats.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, do you remember what hard light is? The gun hard light
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. In Marathon, I think I'm thinking
in
of Hardline.
Destiny.
Okay.
The gun
I'm
hard
trying to
light.
remember.
It was an
trying to remember
exotic
what that
that you could change the element and it ricocheted off the wall.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So Marathon has that, but it's only in the form of attachments on a certain gun. It
okay.
fires just like hard light, stuff like that. But you put the attachments on, you shoot at the ceiling or the wall, and it ricochets around corners and stuff, just like hard light did.
No shit. Okay.
The BR-77 volley rifle. It's a battle rifle from Halo, just missing a couple attachments. That's all it is. You see touches of their old games in Marathon with Destiny's breakdown sets of things, but in the form of implants and attachments and items and things for your character. So they've learned some things from Destiny, but like we were talking about with the story and stuff, that's kind of a step back because it's not as accessible for people. So I think Season 2 is going to be better in that, depending on how the PvE mode goes. But I'm excited to see that just because I think that's going to be their in for the world building and story-wise stuff. But like to wrap that all back into Destiny, I don't like the idea of people saying Destiny died, or they killed Destiny so Marathon could die, basically, and like they're hedging their bets or putting all their eggs in one basket and expecting Marathon to fail. That's obviously not the case, especially with the dwindling population of Destiny, and now that there's not content, people are mad and flocking back to the game. Like that's not going to change what happened when you've already jumped ship beforehand, and you can't blame their other game for the death of the other one.
Right. Like, I'm not gonna. I won't say Marathon wasn't part of the reason why the game died, but it's not the main reason. Which I don't blame the company for, because they needed a new IP.
Destiny could have survived on its own, provided they handled it better before. Like with all the stumbling blocks, I think it built up too much negativity, and like they couldn't recover.
Right. And then on top of that, where they're building that other IP and are going to be releasing it soon. No offense, if I see this one IP, yes, it was a great IP, and had a 12-year life cycle. But if you have that other one in development and you're put so much money into it, and that older one is slowly dying, and you can't figure out a way to do it, I don't blame them for moving people over. It sucks. I hated seeing that, but the writing was on the wall.
Mm-hmm. I like that you said that too, but like, hindsight is always 20/20, right?
Right.
There have just been. I imagine you don't keep up with the Destiny 2 subreddit or anything, but there have been so many posts about when are we getting our roadmap? They said we were going to get something at this date, and we haven't. When are we going to hear about this? What are they doing about that? Why is Marathon getting constant updates and we're not getting anything but a slow trickle? Oh, this TWID from this week was super short. Why? Maybe next week will be longer and shit like that. It's like when you look back and see the lack of communication, the short update notes, the saying we'll have an answer for you at this date, this date, and this date, it kind of shows that it was already on a downward spiral.
Right.
But I also feel bad that some of the articles I've read about it, that's not what it looked like inside of Bungie. A lot of the devs, from what I saw, were just as surprised as we are to hear this news because they were still developing content for the game. You know, they weren't given the stop content development and here's what's going to happen. It was just like, keep making it. We'll let you know what goes on when it does. And not the highest of higher-ups, but the people right underneath them apparently were kind of vocal about it and were saying, hey, we need to let other people know that this is happening. And I guess that just didn't happen. So they just kept making shit until they were just like, hard stop, not doing it anymore. Right. Which upset the devs. And now there's going to be some massive layoffs at Bungie also after the drop. So that's coming down the pipe. I believe they are moving some people over to the Marathon team and things like that, but I just I don't know how big the layoffs are going to be.
Right. especially considering, like, again, talking about recouping any loss that was put into Marathon.
Yep.
You can't just take all those people and transition them over. If you're already operating at a loss, you're just adding more to your loss.
Yep.
Right.
Not fun. I'm
No.
sorry.
It's
Anyways, let's play Destiny tonight, guys.
Oh, that's a fun question. The petition, or I don't think it's written in the petition, but a lot of folks are saying, show them that you care about Destiny. Show them that it's not a dead game. Everybody log in on the 9th. Are you going to participate in that?
Sure. I'll start
If
my
we-
guy before the 9th.
If we want to, go right ahead.
Do we think it's? I mean, serious question. Do you guys want to do that just to, like, for old time's sake, hop in on the 9th? And in doing so, bear in mind that it's basically saying, I agree with this stuff. I'm joining in to throw my hat in the ring too. At least to me, that's what that looks like. I'm all for jumping in and playing at any point, but I'm also well aware that this is probably not going to change anything.
Pretty much. I know for a fact it's not going to change anything, but at the same time, what the hell? Why not? It's not going to hurt anybody.
Right.
We're just showing that we love
Oh,
the
wait,
game.
it's not going to hurt anybody? Then I don't want to do it.
Nice.
Chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and again, like, to take it all the way back, like, I mean, I'll be glad to jump in. I mean, maybe at some point next weekend, I'll, because again, I'm going to be offline for pretty much this entire week, or maybe even tomorrow. Maybe I'll get on, set up a guy, have fun with it for whatever. But I mean, if I could throw my hat in the ring, I feel bad for. That's kind of my biggest. I don't want to say gripe, but my biggest problem with any, like, MMO style game is that eventually you are going to invest a lot of money into it, and there is a lifespan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell that to
And,
WoW.
like, whew, I don't even want to think about it. WoW intimidates the shit out of me. Like, I don't have the foggiest idea what's going on in WoW.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm just like, how that game has got some fucking legs.
I don't know how. Like,
Me neither.
there's so many, like, there are so many games that have been held for like a solid 20 years, right? And like, that's the thing. What is the magic? What is the recipe that they chose
Yeah.
that got them the amount of success that they did? Minecraft.
And it hasn't been replicated either. Minecraft
Right.
is probably the closest now.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not an MMO.
No.
It's not a
Right, and-
consistent living world, so I would say that it's in a class all its own.
Right. Like, even like some of the other ones, like StarCraft or whatever, right? Where you have, it's been around for quite some time. It doesn't have the mass appeal that WoW still has. Like,
The first
people
thing that comes
still
to mind
play
when you
that
said
game.
that was StarCraft is peer-to-peer matches, I believe. It's not an MMO setting. It's just you're fighting against this other person, and that is it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what StarCraft is.
I thought there was like multiple. You could have multiple.
You
combatants.
can have multiple combatants, yes, but it's a war game. You're gathering resources, building up your base, and going out to take out the other army.
Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know any other MMO. It was funny. I saw something on EverQuest the other day. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
That's an
about
MMO.
it. It was an MMO.
That was one of the funny ones where they made EverQuest. I think it was they made EverQuest 2 and nobody liked it, so everybody went back to EverQuest 1.
Yeah, like there and what's the two Final Fantasy ones? Those are still kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 is still running around. And 14 underwent
Wow.
its thing. I don't know. I tried that game, dude, and I was just like, this is not for me.
Like I wanted to, but I couldn't convince my mom to let me. And then I just had it, and it's a good thing I didn't, because all I kept hearing was, "This is bad."
It was rough. But people who play that game and love it, they love the shit out of it, man. I don't get it.
I tried 14 for a bit. It was fun.
14 was the one where that did, like, it started off and then they were like, oh, this is hot garbage, and then they completely
Yeah.
revamped it, right?
Yeah, they destroyed their
they
universe
restarted
or
the
whatever.
road. Yeah.
man.
I tried it after the destruction. Because of how bad 11 was. That's why I didn't want to play 14 for a while.
It's a completely different game. What's funny
Uh.
about that? It doesn't even feel like it was made by the same people. 11 is just so weird.
I want to say 14 to me, the battle systems and the way it's set up reminds me of Final Fantasy 12. And 12 was basically a mock MMO.
Was that
in
the
my
Zodiac
opinion.
Age one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really like that one.
It had everything that the like an MMO would have, minus the people. And I'm like, I don't like this playstyle to begin with. Why would you do that for a single player game?
I don't know. Trying something new. Swing for the fences.
Any much.
All right, I'll leave you guys with the fact that in a week we're going to have another State of Play from PlayStation. Wait, I already told you that. You, the greater world, I'm talking to you, the royal you. We're having a State of Play on June 2nd.
And that's when we'll find out about D3.
Yeah, right. That'd be some bullshit, too. It's just like, oh yeah, by the way, Destiny 3. Dude, people would lose their fucking mind after everything this week with D2 shutting down. That would just be it. They would, dude, they would set Bungie Studios on fire for that.
Oh my god.
They would go insane if that was the case.
Uh-huh.
I can see the meltdown now. Just, what the fuck? Everybody said this was happening. How dare you? Fuck you. Oh my god.
You lied to us.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer finally.
Keep on waiting.
Oh my god.
Didn't they, maybe you told me this, but I thought with Kingdom Hearts they want to make another trilogy. Like this fourth one isn't going to be the end. They want to make more.
Yeah. So the fourth is going to be a start of the next trilogy. Because it's supposed to be the Master Saga. But they're not, supposedly it's not going to be such large gaps in between. They're going to be bang, bang, bang right off the bat.
Banging the gap. What?
Hey.
Hey. All right, I was going to say speaking of banging the gap, but that doesn't make any sense. Do you want to go play Marathon? Do you have time?
Yeah. I mean,
Mike?
I have to get the boys to bed, but then after that I should be free.
Yeah.
I'll go check. I got to go check on Callie, but sounds like everybody's dead to the world, so I'll take advantage.
We got to get Sean to 50 and you to 30, depending on where you are. Or maybe you're after 30, I don't remember.
Now, what's supposed to happen if you hit 50?
He gets a
So-
box.
Yeah, you get it box in season 2. It literally just gives you another box that you can open.
Oh, okay.
So like there's like certain thresholds. So it's like I think it's like 20, 30, 50, 70, and 100. You get like basically it's just a box so you can start.
If
off
it's
a little bit
70, I'm going to
easier.
try to hit 70. If it's at 75, I'm not bothering. Although it might not be that hard because they did increase the XP gains for everything.
Right, and that's
That
kind of
I-
why I want to get it done now.
That I do like that they brought over from Destiny.
What's that?
Where at the end of the season they're
Oh, they
They're
just throw all the
increasing-
shit at the wall.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
that's
boost.
another good thing about Marathon 2 that people have pointed out, and I absolutely agree with. With the changes in the AI bots that are in the different POIs and increased warden spawns and world events that happen in the maps while you're on it, the game feels a lot more alive.
Yeah,
Now
I
are they
hear
going to
that.
keep that for season 2?
Good question. I don't know. They are very communicative about stuff. They seem to be taking the data and reviews and criticisms to heart and making these solid changes to them and are not afraid to get silly with it and try things out. So I'm hoping for the best.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right, folks. If you want more from us, we're on Instagram and Facebook and Blue Sky and Threads. And we have a Patreon if you want to join it. And the podcasts are on Google, Apple, Spotify, and I think Amazon Music too. Video version of the podcast goes live on the same day as the audio, which is on Wednesdays at 7:30 in the morning. Hooray!
Yay.
Hey. Let's go run some laps now.
Yeah.
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 Hi.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.